Burgess, ladies and gentlemen, folks online that are joining us. Welcome to this meeting of Municipal Council on Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024. It's 6 o'clock. We'll begin our council meeting by having the roll call, please. Councillors present, please indicate electronically. For those watching online and others not accustomed to our process, it takes about 10 seconds for results to come back to us electronically. The roll call now that Councillor Davison has just joined us is a full complement with the exception of Councillors Hurtle and Deputy Mayor Lutz. Had the Deputy Mayor contacted anyone? Yes. She couldn't be here because she's away at other meetings, yes, okay. And has Councillor Hurtle contacted us? No, he has not. So for the moment, I would take a motion excusing the attendance of the Deputy Mayor for excuses given. Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. You've had an opportunity to review the agenda. If there are no errors or omissions in the agenda, could I have a motion to approve, please? Moved by Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Harding. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. Once an agenda has been approved, we look to each councillor now to determine, because they hadn't known precisely what was going to be on the agenda, to determine whether they have a conflict with any one of those items or more, and if they did, now would be the time to declare it so that they could be excused during the discussion of that item. Is there any conflict of interest associated with anybody? Seeing none, we'll move forward on the agenda, and the last motion was passed unanimously. Thank you. Looking at the minutes of February 6th, February 16th Special Council, and February 20th Special Council, they're included with your agendas, and you've had an opportunity to review them. I would unless there are errors or omissions you wish to point out, I would take a motion to approve them all, and then we'll deal with business arising from them. Moved by Councillor Granger, seconded by Councillor Burgess. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. The minutes are approved unanimously, and now looking at each of those sets of minutes for any business that has been undone and flagged. With respect to the meeting of February 6th of Council, any errors or omissions or matters to bring forward? Seeing none, I ask the same question regarding February 16th's meeting. Seeing none, is there any business arising from the February 20th meeting? I see none. Moving to item 6, Planning and Advisory Committee recommendations of February 13th, 2024, and I'll go to Councillor Armstrong as the chair of that Planning Advisory Committee to take us through items 6A to D.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first motion before us is that Municipal Council give first reading to and hold a public hearing regarding the application to rezone the properties located at 496, 498, and 500-502 Mosher Street, PID 55109698, 55109680, Kingston, from the residential 1 unit R1 zone to the residential mixed density R3 zone as described in Appendix D of the report dated January 31st, 2024. I so move.
Thank you. A seconder for the motion, Councillor Killam. It's been moved and seconded that the application to rezone properties located at 496, 498, and 500, 502 Mosher Street in Kingston be accepted as accepting the recommendation of the Planning Advisory Committee. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's unanimously approved. Thank you. And the second recommendation, please.
That Municipal Council give initial consideration to and hold a public hearing regarding entering into a development agreement to permit the addition of a restaurant, event venue, and an expanded commercial area within an existing building at 1441 Church Street, PID 55037188, Port Williams, as described in Appendix C of the report dated February 8th, 2024. I so move.
Thank you. And the seconder for the motion, Councillor Davidson. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. And item C, please.
That Municipal Council give initial consideration to and hold a public hearing regarding amendments to an approved development agreement registered on a vacant parcel in the southeast quadrant of J. Jordan Road and Summer Street, PID 55354385, 55008627, and 55551758 Canning, which is substantively the same for minor differences in form, as the draft set out in Appendix C of the report dated February 13th, 2024. I so move.
Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Granger. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, then, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Those being all the items, do we have a date for the next public hearing, Councillor?
Our next public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, 6 p.m. in these chambers. Thank you.
Moving on then to item 7, administration. 7A is the proclamation requests, and the clerk will be handling that, and then we'll move on to 7B regarding the amendment of a bylaw first reading. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Seem to be having a little bit of feedback here. I'll just turn one mic off. It's a busy month for proclamations. We have 4 proclamation requests before you tonight, and actually later on the agenda we have a few proclamation requests that came to us through Committee of the Whole, so it is definitely a busy month. The first one is a proclamation request for Amyloidosis Awareness Month. The request was received from the Canadian Amyloidosis Support Network, and if you're unfamiliar with this disease, I have to admit I looked it up. Amyloidosis is a group of complex, rare diseases caused when an abnormal protein called amyloid deposits in various locations throughout the body, leading to organ impairment or failure. This is the first time that we have received this proclamation, and so the recommendation is that Municipal Council proclaim March 2024 as Amyloidosis Awareness Month in the municipality of the County of Kings.
Thank you. Can I have a resolution to that effect? Councillor Armstrong, second by Councillor Allen. Any discussion on the motion, please? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. So the second proclamation request is for World Down Syndrome Day. We received this request from Kerry Saunders, and she has organized this event for several years now. This is actually the 6th time that we've received this proclamation request. There will be a flag-raising ceremony on March 21st at 9 a.m. In these chambers. And the recommendation is that Municipal Council proclaim March 21st, 2024 to be World Down Syndrome Day in the municipality of the County of Kings.
Thank you. Do I have a mover of the motion? Councillor Davidson, thank you. Councillor Granger seconds the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. And that is passed unanimously. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
The third proclamation request is for World Press Freedom Day. We received a request from an organization called Ink Stained Wretches, which is a grassroots volunteer advocacy group, and they're dedicated to building a culture of appreciation for quality journalism. The group was founded in 2020. The Canadian Commission for UNESCO is actually one of their campaign partners. This year's theme is A Press for the Planet, Journalism in the Face of the Environmental Crisis. And this is the first time that we've received this proclamation request. And the recommended motion is that Council proclaim May 3rd, 2024 to be World Press Freedom Day in the municipality of the County of Kings.
Thank you. A mover of the motion, please. Councillor Killam, and seconder, Councillor Harding. Any discussion on this motion? As has been mentioned, this is the first time it's come before us. Others we're quite familiar with. I don't suppose there's a time when this type of motion would be more appropriate, so I'm certainly voting in favor of it. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. And the last one. This having been passed unanimously.
And the fourth and final proclamation request is for World Autism Acceptance Month. We've received this request from the Annapolis Valley chapter of Autism Nova Scotia. This is actually the 7th time that we've received this request, and there will be an event on April the 2nd at 2 p.m. And the recommended motion is that Council proclaim April 2024 to be World Autism Acceptance Month in the municipality of the County of Kings.
Do I have a mover of the motion, please? Moved by Councillor Armstrong, seconded by Councillor Burgess. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Going to item B on administration. 7B, Madam Clerk, did you have anything to do with that, or shall I take it?
I can certainly speak to that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
We're here to give second reading to the alternative voting bylaw, bylaw 108. First reading was given by Council on January the 23rd. And obviously this is an amendment to the bylaw to accommodate the 2024 municipal election. And the recommended motion is that Council give second reading to amendments to bylaw 108, alternative voting, as attached to the March 5th, 2024 Council agenda.
Thank you. Simply procedural. Second reading. Mover of the motion, please. Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote. I'm sorry, Councillor, I didn't see your light. Councillor Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. I talked to a number of the constituents in District 9. A few of them had major concerns with electronic voting only, and some of them said just plain reason they're older, and tradition, they only voted by ballot. And a couple of them said they didn't have access to the internet or cell phones. And so I think we're going to lose a few of the people that normally would vote, will not vote by electronic only. So for that reason, I'll be voting against it. I think we should be doing things to increase the percentage of people voting, not reduce it in any way. So I'm against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So worthy of debate. Let's hear from folks on this one. Next up is Councillor Killam. Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. I too have discussed this with some people, and they aren't happy at all without having the paper ballot as being the main choice. There was an article today, I think it was, regarding how this can be misused, this particular method that we're choosing. And through it all, I guess I'll be voting against it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm in favor of this, but I know that there are others around the table who are not. And I just wanted to point out that when we had just paper ballots, I think it was much more restrictive, because at that time we had 2 advance polls and election day, 12 hours on each of those days, which amounted to 36 hours to vote. With the changes that we're making and making it electronic, there will be actually 10 days to vote. You'll be able to vote 24/7 from the comfort of your home, and you'll actually have 240 hours to vote. If you're going with a paper ballot, you need a car, or you need a friend with a car, and you need the time and the gas in a finite amount of time to get out and vote. And with electronic, as I said, you can vote from the comfort of your home. All you need is a home phone, a cell phone, or a computer, or a friend with one of those. So I think that ultimately we'll see an increase in voting as opposed to a decrease. But that's just me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Davidson.
Thank you, sir, through you. This was a great debate just a while back when we discussed this. When I ran last year, the numbers were quite low. I don't think there was a whole lot of education out on it as of yet. But I did pose the question of the constituents coming to a spot to do voting, whether it's on a paper or on a computer. So I believe the answer that I received from our staff was you can still go physically to a station and you can still physically vote. It's just, instead of a check mark, it's a push of a button. So you actually are getting more opportunity to vote, whether you're doing it from home or still coming in. If I've got that wrong, can somebody correct me? But I'm pretty sure that's what I was told, and that is correct. So I think this is probably eventually, when the education gets out there, people are more apt to come out and vote or do it from their cell phones. If they're older and they don't really use cell phones, then they can still come out and do it exact same way. It's just not on paper. So I will be voting for the alternative voting.
Thank you, Councillor. And so that everybody is speaking with the same information at hand, and you have raised what I thought that I had heard previously as well, that you could actually attend a polling station and cast your vote. I'll look to the clerk to see whether she can give us some clarification on that process.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is correct, the way Councillor Davison described it. There will be, I wouldn't call them polling stations, but rather voter help centres. There will be at least one in each district where people are able to still go physically to cast their vote. And obviously, rather than a paper ballot, it will be pushing a button on a computer screen, but there will be assistance available there. And so for people who, for whatever reason, prefer to vote in person, there will still be that option.
Okay, thank you. So, Council, with that new information, I still have councillors who wish to speak. Councillor Harding.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question I brought up last time about the districts. Since I have the largest district, I have people in Dalhousie wondering if they have to drive to Greenwood in order to do that last vote on that day. That's 50-some kilometers or more. So I was asking for a second voting station in my area for that day. So I think, Dick, you have the second largest, I think. So from one end to the other, right? So just, I haven't heard anything, or maybe it's too early yet. I don't know. So thank you.
All right, but on the point itself as to whether the voting be electronic or otherwise, what's your position, Councillor?
Voting electronically.
Thank you. Councillor Allen, thank you for the second time.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. These voter help stations, Yanni said that there would be at least one. I'm wondering how many we would actually have in the municipality of Kings.
Madam Clerk, do you have an answer for that?
Thank
question?
you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Councillor Allen. So as mentioned, at least, I don't know why we're getting feedback, at least one in each district, and we can certainly consider in the two largest districts whether there should be two voter help centers. We'll certainly look at that. One issue might be computer equipment, because obviously we would need laptops or tablets for each voter help center, but we can certainly consider the requests. We will certainly do that.
And if I'm allowed?
Yes, please, go ahead.
How many days would these voting stations be operating?
So there will be one voter help center here in this building throughout the e-voting period, so that's for a period of 10 days. And the voter help centers in other districts, that will only be on election day, on October the 19th.
Just the one day?
Right, correct.
Okay. And it would only take one person to operate each station?
We're leaning towards having two people at each of those voter help centers. If someone needs to leave the room even for a minute, you don't want to miss any voters. So probably two per voter help center.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I would think also even for security it would be more than one person. So any further debate on the question before I call it? I can indicate that I'll be voting in favor, given both the comments of Councillor Armstrong and those of the clerk and Councillor Davison in clarifying that help stations would be available. So questions called. All those in favor or otherwise of the motion, please vote now. Motion is passed with one negative vote. Moving on to item 8, Engineering and Public Works Services. Which one were you shooting for, Councillor? So we have 2 votes against, and the rest of Council is in favor. Thank you for that clarification. Moving on to item 8, Engineering and Public Works Services. Mr. Kerrigan, Director of Engineering, is here to discuss with us the lift station upgrades. Mr. Kerrigan, when you're ready. I'm trying to get a light on for you here. There we go. You're good to go.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Here today to discuss a request for decision on the Aylesford AD2 lift station. Just to go through this, the reason why I'm here, the project overview is this is an RFD to approve additional design and engineering costs for upgrades to the this lift station in Aylesford. Project construction is supported by Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program funding. And the replacement of this lift station has been revised to now include design of a gravity, replace the gravity main underneath the Annapolis River, which is adjacent to this lift station. So I have found a map here to give everybody an idea where this is. It's very close to the entrance to the Aylesford sewer treatment plant. And as you can see marked in the red spot at near Civic 1074 Maple Avenue, this lift station is currently sitting right at the crest of a riverbank and is posing lots of safety risks with its continued operation, and we see lots of operational issues with that. Further back to the original engineering, contract was awarded in 2022 to CBCL. It included pre-design work for the lift station AD3 in Aldershot, CB2 in Cambridge, CK4 in Colebrook, and as well the pre-design of AD2 in Aylesford. These projects were funded for construction by the ICIP fund, approved in 2023. And just a note, final design has been completed for the AT3, CB2, and CK4 lift stations, with capital construction projects planned for the upcoming year pending approval of capital budget. The AD2 lift station in Aylesford did not progress past the pre-design phase at the time. So design considerations that we're looking at, these are the issues that the safety and operational issues that we currently have. The existing grade issues along Maple Avenue do not allow safe vehicle or vector access. That includes crane access around the power lines that exist at that location. Adjacent bridge abutment and riverbank do not allow the existing station to be raised without significant environmental impact. So we would have to build a full retaining wall over the riverbank or at the riverbank to allow this, which would be a significant cost as well as lengthy environmental approvals to do so. As I said, there's currently low overhead, I believe they're data wires, not so much power wires, but there's low overhead wires at the immediate location, so use of a crane poses a huge safety risk. There's issues with existing depth of the lift station due to the sewer gravity feed that is currently under the river, and the existing lift station, by the looks of things, is currently encroaching on nearby property. So the new design scope for the engineer, which would be CBCL, is to construct a brand new lift station, but instead of putting it exactly where it is now, it would be about 10 to 20 meters to the south of the existing location, same side of the road, which would eliminate the encroachment issue on the neighboring property. The engineer would ensure that the pumping capacity for the new station is adequate for future development demands in Aylesford. It would replace the incoming sewer main from the north under crossing the river to mitigate inflow and infiltration. That could be done either through lining the existing pipe or more than likely replacing the pipe with a new sewer main going underneath the river, which would be directionally drilled. The new location would be safe access for vac truck and future crane truck access. And the engineer would also be responsible for coordinating wire relocates for power and data, at least talking to the utilities to find out what work needs to be done and what can be done. Financial summary for this project, the additional design scope, these prices are with net HST, $51,393 for the design. If we want to go with additional geotechnical, which has been recommended if we're doing an undercrossing of the river, would be an additional $15,435 for a total of $66,828. And just of note, the 2023-24 capital budget for lift station replacements year to date account balance was confirmed to be $2,869,000 and $762. And that's currently a capital project 083408. So the reason I'm here is our procurement policy, section 17.38 states, if any contracts are in the value of $10,000 or exceed the contract value of $10,000, a change order, directive extension, the cumulative value of them sorry, I'm looking at this, value up to $100,000. Any change order, directive, extension, or cumulative value of those shall not exceed $10,000 without the approved budget allocation of council. So in this case, since that amount is over $10,000, as per procurement policy 17.3C, this change order or directive exceeds the $10,000 amount and requires approval from council.
Thank you, Director. Any questions of the Director on his presentation? So the total cost of this project is the 66,828,
Yes, it is.
and it's a brand new project, is it?
This would be design, this would be construction, sorry through you, Mayor. This would be the design of that new AD2 station from scratch.
Okay. Any questions arising from mine, Councillor Granger? As soon as I find your light here, Councillor.
Through you, do we have an anticipated start date for this?
Through you, the Mayor, yes, we can start design on this project as soon as we give the okay. So the engineer is currently waiting for approval on this. We just had to come to council first to approve it.
Okay, and would any other time restraints make the price change? If it couldn't happen for another year, would we be coming back and looking at more additional costs?
For design, if we deferred the design, yes, that would likely change if we deferred this current motion. As engineering costs would likely go up. If we approve this now, then the engineering could proceed as is. That doesn't mean that the construction has to happen right away. That construction could be put to next year if that was the case.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor. No further discussion. Do you have a draft motion?
Through you, Mayor, you wish me to read the recommendations? I can.
No, there's not a separate motion other than these recommendations. Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
It's recommended that Municipal Council approve additional costs for design engineering of the Aylesford AD2 lift station infrastructure upgrade project in the amount of $51,393, including non-rebated HST, to CBCL for the preparation of drawing and tender specifications, and that Municipal Council approve additional costs for geotechnical engineering near the Aylesford AD2 lift station to support the design of new trenchless river crossing in the amount of $15,435, including non-rebated HST to CBCL again, related to the preparation of tender specifications. Unless anybody wants to break those, we do have separate motions, eh? Let's take them one at a time then. The approval of the $51,593. Could I have a motion to that effect? Mayor Armstrong. Martha Armstrong. I don't know, was that a Freudian slip? Councillor Harding, seconded by Councillor Harding. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Killam, did I miss your light previously?
No, it's okay. Thank you, Mayor. I just was wanting to know the actual costs of the construction. Is that included in what we have here? I don't think so, but.
I'm assuming that, I shouldn't assume. Mr. Kerrigan?
Any rough idea as to costs of?
Through you, Mayor. Sorry, we don't have a estimated cost at this time. With this design, we would have the engineer produce a Class B or Class A estimate of what they expect that cost to be.
The cost will be a product of the design.
Correct.
Yeah.
Would the cost of that particular, well, what we get for a price, is that sort of a standard price for all other lift stations that we have, or each one would be different?
Through you, Mayor, the design cost would change depending on the complexity of the project. The reason this one is higher than others maybe is because it also involves the trenchless design going underneath the river. So they're basically doing a lift station design, but they're also designing a sewer main to cross underneath the river with a directional drill.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Mr. Kerrigan. Any further questions? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's passed unanimously, thank you. And the second part of the motion had to do with the approval of $15,435 rather. Could I have a mover of that motion? Councillor Davidson and Councillor Allen seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We're now going to item 9, financial services, and looking to amendments to 3 policies, and Mr. McKay is here to guide us through those. Mr. McKay, when you're ready, sir, your light is on.
Good evening, Mayor Matart, Council. The first agenda item I have before you is in regards to our municipal property tax sale, which would usually be taking place in the chamber this week. So as you are all aware, the municipality was impacted last July with a cybersecurity incident. Due to the fact that we were unable to access any of our financial software until well into the fall, we fell behind what would have been our usual schedule for the property tax sale. We had created a preliminary listing of approximately 300 properties which were at risk of tax sale just before this incident, but were forced, after sending out primary notices or preliminary notices to those 300 property owners, we were forced to pause the process at that point. So Section 4.6 of the municipality's property tax sale policy states that the municipality shall hold its property tax sale in the month of March. The policy also lays out several timelines, and because we were paused until December, meeting those timelines would not have been possible with having a tax sale held in March this year. Staff also wanted to issue reminder notices to affected property owners, as we usually do, in hopes of bringing more of these property tax counts up to date. These notices were sent out in early January once staff had completed the input of the backlog of transactions for property tax counts, and once we had posted the final tax billing for 2023. So the last of the property title searches will not be in our hands until a few days from now. Once we receive those, staff must issue registered letters to each property owner, spouse, lien holder, and any other party with a charge on the property, and that letter must provide at least 60 days in which the property tax count can be brought up to date, thus removing it from tax sale. Additionally, newspaper advertisements are required to be published twice prior to the tax sale. And to ensure that staff are able to comfortably meet all the requirements of these timelines, it is proposed that the 2024 property tax sale be conducted on June 13th this year. So the recommendation before you is that Municipal Council provide 7 days notice per Section 48(1) of the Municipal Government Act to adopt amendments to Policy Finance 05024, Property Tax Sales, as detailed in the March 5th, 2024 request for decision. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Questions of the presenter? We have a couple. Councillor Granger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you. Just wondering if the tax sale is going to be online again, or is it going to be back in person, or we've kind of had to switch over, so just wondering how it's going to go.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we did do an online process. I guess it was more COVID forced than anything. So right. Last year we slipped back to, moved back to doing a live auction, and it went very well. The big difference between a live auction and that, the tender process that we did, is that it's hard to enforce payment from people that tender bid on things rather than making an in-person purchase. So it worked much better. A little more work for the staff, but it's far more effective to do it in person. So that would be the plan.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That was my question. I was just wondering if it had been decided if it would be a public auction or a tender, and you're saying it's going to be public?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And to be clear, this, if we pass this recommendation, it is for this sale only, this year only.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, no more questions. I don't have a motion on the floor. Somebody move the motion. Councillor Armstrong, seconded by Councillor Granger. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving now to item B, amendments to policy FIN 024, property tax sales notice. No?
Property tax exemptions.
All right, sir, you take it away.
I see. Okay, so the next agenda item I have before you is regards to our property tax exemptions for nonprofit organizations policy. It's Finance Policy 05026. So this year we have a number of properties which no longer qualify for the exemption under the terms of the policy. One property has been deactivated as an assessment account, and it's been amalgamated with an adjoining property and is now under private ownership. Two other properties have changed ownership to that of commercial for-profit use. So all of those properties no longer kind of fit the mold of properties that are covered under the policy. The removal of those properties reduces the overall exemption by $15,611. And the recommended addition this year of 4 new properties results in an increase to the exemption of $12,400, so a net reduction year over year of $3,211. The Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia, a registered Canadian charity, was recently gifted 2 properties down in Avonport. One of these is in an active charitable use and so qualifies under the in inclusion under Schedule A. It is used as a writer's retreat and residence. The second property currently sits vacant and does not qualify for inclusion at this time, but I am assured that they will be approaching us once they start utilizing that second property for more charitable purposes. Community Living Alternative Society, or CLASS, is also a registered Canadian charity and operates several homes across the municipality which qualify for inclusion under Schedule A. The properties in question are located in Kingston, Coldbrook, and in Canning. So the recommendation, with that being said, is that Municipal Council provides 7 days notice per Section 48(1) Municipal Government Act to amend Policy Finance 05026, tax exemption for nonprofit organizations as detailed in the March 5th, 2024 request for decision.
Thank you. Requests, or questions rather, Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I don't have a problem with what you're saying, but the letter, sorry, from Community Living Alternative Society listed Sarah Drive in Coldbrook, and for the life of me, I can't find it on the on the list that you provided. There's 3 of them there, but not the 4th one, not Canning. Is that just an oversight?
It's an oversight, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, it should be included in there, definitely.
Okay.
And that was a recent addition at the deadline, as that property was only purchased in December.
Okay.
So that got added.
So it will be added to the list.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Killen.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a request from some folks regarding paying the fire tax amount. Maybe you had a discussion with somebody on that, and wanting to know why or how they could use that as a tax write-off, basically because it's a direct donation to the fire service through the municipality. And I said, well, I would just pass this along and see if I can find out what's going on there.
Thank you, Councillor. We consider it passed along, but it doesn't have to do with this particular recommendation or motion, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was drifting there, sorry.
It's okay. Any other questions of clarification? Seeing none, is someone prepared to move the motion that Municipal Council provide 7 days notice per section 48 sub 1 of the MGA to amend policy FIN 05-026, tax exemption for nonprofit organizations as detailed in the March 5th, 2024 request for decision? Moved by Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Davison. Any further debate on the issue? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's passed unanimously. I'm voting in favor. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. And Councillor Hurdle is with us, joining us in the vote now. You had another matter? No, you're done? Okay. There was, sir, before you leave us, Mr. McKay, I did have on the agenda personal property tax reduction. You didn't have that item?
I think it's just adoption today.
All right. Just don't leave us yet. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I just wanted to point out that's just adoption of the policy, so it already came to us, to council in the form of a presentation.
Oh, so no presentation accompanies.
Correct, so that's
Okay.
item 9A, yes.
All right. My apologies for the confusion, keeping you from your coffee. Thank you. So we do have a motion, recommended motion before us that Municipal Council adopt amendments to policy FIN 05-009, personal property tax reduction, as attached to the March 5th, 2024 Council agenda. You all had an opportunity to read that. Any discussion, questions before we start? Councillor Armstrong?
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions, and perhaps Mr. Barr can step in and answer these for me. Under policy statements on the bylaw, or whatever it's called, it says that they, 46,000 is the household income. Is that with the notice of assessment for 2022 or 2023? Is my first question.
Excuse me. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Armstrong, it would be the most recent notice of assessment that would be available. So if it's the applications are in terms of the timeline, it would most likely be the prior fiscal year.
22.
They wouldn't, yeah, exactly.
Okay. And the other question that I had is, it says that a residential tax reduction up to a maximum of $560. And I'm not sure that a lot of people read that part, that it's up to a maximum. So we can assume that under a certain income level, people will be eligible for the maximum of 560. But once they cross that threshold, wherever that may be, and between that and the 46,000, how do you determine what percentage they get of that 560? Because we can assume that if someone comes in and has earned a household income of 42,000, they're not going to get the full 560. So how do you determine what percentage of that 560 they would be eligible for?
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Armstrong, so I can get back to you about that specifically, but I do believe that the full exemption is available. I think the 560 is, give me 1 second here. I do believe that the 560 is up to the amount of the income taxes that would be owing. So if there's amount that's owing that's less than the 560, they would only get up to whatever the amount is that they owe in income tax, or property tax, sorry.
Yeah. So if somebody earned $45,999.
Right.
You're saying that they, even though it says up to a maximum, they are eligible for the 560 as long as their taxes owing are more than
As long as
560?
the property taxes are more than that.
Okay. I'm looking for a nod from, from the guy in the back row here. Because normally, you know, when you see a maximum of 560, you assume that there might be some sort of grading there depending on the income, but there
Yeah,
is none.
There's no proration associated with that.
Okay, it's
So
only on the tax owed.
It said if you only have property taxes on a piece of property that's $300 worth of property taxes, you're not going to get $560
Right.
rebate.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to know. Appreciate it.
So, Mr. McKay, you're simply nodded in acknowledgement, or you do have something further to add to the discussion? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor, for raising that. So the motion is, or the recommended motion is that Municipal Council adopt amendments to Policy FIN 05009, Personal Property Tax Reduction, as attached to the March 5th, 2024 Council agenda. Mover of the motion, Councillor Armstrong. Seconder, Councillor Burgess. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's unanimous. Thank you. Going to item 10, recommendations from Committee of the Whole of February 20th, 2024. The motions are in your agenda package, of course. Firstly, that Municipal Council proclaim March the 8th, 2024 as International Women's Day, March 21st, 2024 as International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and March 31st, 2024 as International Transgender Day of Visibility in the municipality of the County of Kings. Do I have a mover of the motion? Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Burgess.
Not necessarily discussion on the motion, but I did want to highlight that we do have events happening on March 21st as well as March 28th in relation to two of these proclamations, if I may, just for the purpose of the record. On March 21st, we have a book launch for a Windows and Mirrors book that our African Nova Scotian folks have been working on. So we'll be having a book launch here on March 21st from 6 to 8, where those who participated in that will be able to share some of their stories. And for International Transgender Day of Visibility in the municipality, we'll be having a flag raising for that event on March 28th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So I just want to let that, we talked about that last night at diversity, so I just wanted to highlight those while we're speaking of the proclamations.
Thank you for that, and that will appear on our website as well. So we hope to get the word out there. Those of you that can share that, that would be great. The motion's on the table. I see no other lights. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Item B. The Municipal Council call upon the federal government to respond to calls for an annual guaranteed basic livable income, otherwise known as GBLI, by either endorsing, committing to, or enacting a GBLI, or alternatively, giving the citizens of Canada cogent reasons why the GBLI cannot be implemented. Can I have a mover of the motion? Moved by Councillor Burgess, seconded by Councillor Killam was ahead of you, Councillor Granger. Discussion on the motion? Councillor Hurtle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is really outside of our scope of government, fundamentally. So far outside our scope of government.
All right, any other discussion on the motion? It's brought forward to Council as a matter of concern to the general populace that people who live in our area that are in need of not only housing and food and so on are in need of income, and that this matter has been before the federal government for decades for consideration, and there having been several pilots across the nation, that we should be asking the government to at least come to a conclusion on the matter, either by saying it's not practicable, and we've studied it and can say that, or it is practicable, and therefore we understand the pressure that you're bringing upon us to implement it. That's the basis of the motion, and there being no further lights indicating they wish to debate, I'll call the question. All those in favor, or otherwise, please vote now. The motion's passed with one negative vote. Board and committee reports. There are no written reports received. Are there any verbal reports to give before we leave? Councillor Granger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today, the Port William Source Water Protection Committee meeting happened, and we just went over the plan and water contingency plans. Both are under review because they haven't been done since 2017. So looking at that, and I was given an update on their planned water projects that will be coming with what's coming in their area as well.
Thank you. Any questions of the councillor regarding her report? Secondly, Councillor Harding.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, on February 21st, I attended the Kings Point to Point Transit Society meeting, and in that meeting it was discussed that we was having some financial troubles with some vehicle costs, and letters were sent back to all the partners. So I'm not going to go into this in detail, but I just want to let everybody know that all the partners are looking at it, and hopefully our CAO and Deputy CAO will be bringing something back to us at some point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I can report that the CAO and I briefly discussed the matter, so it's in the CAO's hands at the present time. Councillor Burgess.
Thank you. Diversity Kings County met last night. We did not have a meeting in February because of African Heritage Month. We generally take that off to celebrate, so we don't have a committee meeting as per usual. Last night we had presentations from Katie MacArthur for an overview of accessibility and what's happening here in the County of Kings, as well as a presentation from Sean Phoebens about recreation opportunities here in the County of Kings, and there were some really great conversations about different ways to include different groups of people, and maybe to reach different I don't know what the word, to have other opportunities other than just like sport related opportunities in terms of recreation. So I think we had some really great discussions last night, and we have some great events happening in March as well, so lots to look forward to.
That's an excellent report. Thank you. Are there any further reports, perhaps from external boards and committees or existing committees? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to receive the verbal reports. Moved by Councillor Davidson, second by Councillor Allen. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. While we're waiting for the vote, I'd ask you to consider whether there's any other business you want to bring before the meeting. That vote's been unanimously passed. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the meeting? Councillor Burgess.
Not necessarily related to council this evening, but we do have a resident in Kings County. Her name is Ina Palmer, and she'll be turning 99 this year. So her family has requested that she receive 99 letters, so they're hoping to send many letters to her, so I told her I would speak to council this evening, and you, Mayor, possibly sending a little congratulations to her for her birthday. So they're just giving them to her throughout the year, and then hopefully, maybe, by the time her birthday rolls around, they will have accumulated at 99. So I just told her family that I would bring it to you, and I'm sure that council would be happy to send along some well wishes to her. So.
Thank you for that. I can report now that in addition to the one I have half-drafted for myself personally, I'll send one on behalf of council. A lovely lady. Anything else to come before the meeting? Looking for a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have a member of the public. Do you wish to have any comment to council, sir? No? It's on my agenda that I had to ask you. All right. Motion to adjourn I have from Councillor Harding, seconded by Councillor Allen. All those in favor or otherwise, please vote now. Thank you for your attendance, Council. It's been a fairly rapid meeting. It's nice to get out at 7 o'clock. I look forward